you can track.
You're good to go.
All right, guys. So my name is Bryan Deason. I'm owner of Above Athletics here in Oklahoma City, and we push to vertically align kids into the high school programs, and we've been teaching high school coaches a movement system that's they're integrating into their offenses and play calls. It's been pretty successful. We got seven high school coaches right now that use this, utilize it, been winning state championships with it. So it's been a pretty good deal. Our test platform has about 125 kids in it. As we were talking just a few minutes ago with Coach Navarro and Coach uh, Kuhn, um, we've developed this movement system and formation system, play calling, and we're just trying to integrate it vertically into as many schools, junior highs and high schools as we can across the state of Oklahoma. So we've kind of reached out, and what we really want is simplicity, in play calling. We're trying to get as many one-word calls in as we can, but with that, we're trying to be as multiple with every play that we build. What you see up here on the screen is our basic movement terms. And then everything that we try to build, we build out of what we call 22 pistol, which is just 2x2, with the pistol back. All the movements are called from this by color and number. And as you can see here, we just have rip. So rip is a motion movement from the left to the right. It's a pre-snap movement. And then we have Liz motion. It's a movement from the right to the left, pre-snap motion. We have our jet motion, which is a fast motion across the formation. Uh, we have, our rip and Liz calls, our push motion and tear motion. The push is back kind of in a slow motion, almost a skip stride to the left or to the right. And, his intent is to grab someone's attention, overhang, corner, so on and so forth. And then our tear motion is just fast motion from any position for any color kid, and it's to the left or right. So we'd just give a call that says tear, right or left, rip or Liz, and same for the push. So we push rip, push Liz, so on and so forth. So the way we set this up, day one we come in and we just separate the field like you see this shown here from 0 to just 00, and we call it 00 naughty. So if for example we wanted X at the top of the numbers, we'd just say red one, and he would just move out. And now he's in the proper location where we want him to start at. If we give them a number call without a rip or a Liz or a push or a tear, it's just a movement now. So it's just an alignment shift. So a lot of times guys that come up, they'll get out of the huddle, they won't quite be at their mark. So, we just say, hey, red, one or two or three or what have you. So the very first day, what we do is we come out, we line the field up. I have cones, we put cones down, 0 through naughty through 10, right? All the way through there. They're about 2.5 yards apart from each other. Our base locations are as shown there. So bottom of the numbers, top of the numbers is the one. These splits are in between two players. So this is going to be a number is going to be the middle of any two players. So in this case, the number 2 is going to be the halfway point between F and X, right? Same thing for number 3. So the 3 would actually be the split of the distance between the end man on the line of scrimmage if there's no tight end or wing, and his base location. The same for the other side, right? Once we get that established, what we do is we just line the guys up and we just start calling. Okay, so I would put every kid over here at the number 1. F would come over here, blue would come over there, and we just say, "This is rip." We explain them to them, what the motion is, and we just tell them X or red, rip 7. So in our play cadence call is play fast, set, go, right? So on the word play fast, he would rip as fast as he can, cross the formation. When he got about to the pro location, right before he gets to the 7, we say set, go. And then now he would execute his job from that 7 location. So in this case, he would run the shallow back across the field to the left to where he came from. So that would be rip 7, and this would be shallow. Everyone else would continue to run their same, uh, designated routes within the system. For the Liz motion, if I said yellow, Liz 3, same thing would happen. You'd say play fast. He would run across formation, exit there, and then now he would run his dig. So essentially, we'd have like a levels concept. Um, I won't get into mixing the concepts and making the plays more simple or easy to get to in this presentation. This is just basically the motion. Sorry, guys, my dogs are kind of crazy here. Give me just a second. Sorry, guys, they were being kind of rowdy. My son didn't feed them yet, so they're kind of bullying us around. So where we're at here is um, through our jet motion, through our Liz, it allows us to be multiple and build multiple formations quickly. So in this instance, just based off of what we've talked about right now, Coach Bavaro, if I said yellow 3, what do you think would happen here?
Yellow 3?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's going to move over to the 3 spot on there on the left side.
Right. And so this is going to be an alignment shift. And so now he's just going to go over here to the yellow 3, and he's going to be there. And now I have some type of like a trade look. So if I didn't like the alignment of F and Y here, we would just say green 2, and then the green would move over to the 2 spot, and he would continue to run his route. If it's an alignment shift, when the personnel shifts, they would still run their designated route. So here again, we've built a levels concept with the Y movement to the 3 and the alignment shift, and so we could take advantage of a blitzing linebacker, or something of that nature. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So now we have a couple other calls that make the movement a little more effective. Let's just say we wanted to get purple in the movement. We have a right lights. So if we're calling lights like a light switch, is just on or off. So if the Y was off, when we said lights right, those 2 gentlemen would switch positions. If I said lights left, the same thing would happen. They would just switch on and off their location to kill it. So let's just say I wanted to build a bunch formation here on the left, and I don't want to move my Z or my Y. What do you think I would call in order to get the only other available person, which would be the blue in this case? How would I get him over there and into a type of bunch situation from the position that he's at right now? What would you think I would call?
H3. What did you say?
There you go. We're blue 3, right? So when we make our calls, we're going to utilize the color. So everything that we would assign to blue, any motion, movement, or shift, we would call that blue. So that would be blue 3 there. And you're right, we just say blue 3. And again, that's an alignment change. And so now we have some kind of trio look there, open bunch, something like that. Likewise, we could do the same thing with the blue. if I wanted to build, an invert over here on the right, like I could say blue 8. If we really wanted to get funky, you could put him at blue 9 or naughty out here, and we keep him in the same route. As long as we don't tag him to do anything else, he's going to do what his original job was within the play. So in this case, he would run the bubble to the left, and follow the stem of the Y there, from that 10 location. So we rip the play off and we come back, and the guys get back in their normal alignment here. And so once we get ready to go for the next play, we can add the motion, or we can add the alignment shift from that. Once we get the guys ready, we know they've all looked over, looking for their assignments at the sidelines. Then we just give them a call. So let's say we're going to run a jet left or jet right here. We utilize F or Y. And in this case, jet motion, again, is pre-snap. And so we would just say green jet, and he would know his assignment, whether he's either getting the ball or we're running the pass play, to him, right? So typically what we do is when we tag someone in a movement, pre-snap movement, those guys are going to be our hots, and we kind of, with the younger kids, build those in. And so in this case, if I made F my hot route here, and I'm saying, let's just go again. I'm going to say green, and I'm going to say rip 8. So what he's going to do is pre-snap. We're going to say play fast. He's going to rip 8. Once he gets to the A location, he's going to execute his job, which is to run the corner. And so now I've built a switch route here, in our normal shallow play. And I didn't have to change the play name or anything like that. So as the coach, learning what the concepts are and how you're using them, and how you're building them within the play structure, this gives you a lot of flexibility. It cuts down your verbiage tremendously. And what we've done is we've actually went through about 485 plays, and we've made pre-call sheets to get us to, one-word concepts like smash, flood, shallow. In this case, we have some, dagger, run and shoot concepts, so on and so forth. And we just mix them through. And what we have is a call sheet that is kind of like a matrix, getting us from one play call to the next, and just taking maximum advantage of the defense as much as we can based off of the movement, and the formation of the defense. We always want to put them in somewhere they're negative, or somewhere we can force a mistake on, young kids that don't normally have a lot of time in the high school, unless, you're playing a 4-year senior. You got guys that are just, really learning their position, but learning it at a higher level, you have a better chance of taking advantage of them with quick movements into different concepts that they haven't seen before. So that's kind of the advantage that this gives you, this type of play call, and it's pretty easy. So, you guys got any questions so far?
Nope.
Let me exit out of here. So I've got a couple other things, how it ties into the run game, how we try to get some extra numbers in the box, utilizing, your fullbacks and tight ends for blocking. So this is kind of, again, this is the shallow. And what we're looking at here is power. So in this instance, our play call would be 34 power, shallow, and then we'd have a green rip. And then, so the power is a term for us. It's something that we build into the offense. And what we're doing is we're confirming that every single time we call power, we get the same result, right? so the kids know, towards the end of the season that if we're running power and we're in 22 pistols, someone's got to get there, right? Whether we bring it from the right or the left may be, uh, called by the coach, or it could be sorted on the field once the kids get more familiar with why we block it from the right to the left, or why we would bring Y in short motion and block to the inside here, and we would block the mic, or help a guard or a tackle block a down lineman at that point of attack. So um, these are, some of the other things that we've done to kind of shortcut a lot of teaching and being so wordy in your play calling. So again, we would just line up in our 22 pistol. The play coming from the sideline would be 34 power green rip. And, he would know that he's responsible for the kick out, of the, second level defender at the point of attack, in the 4 hole. Now, if that Sam was, tighter, in like a 20, or if he was in a 50, even if he was outside, over the tackle, you could make a call where we would tell him green rip 40, green rip 50, green rip 20. So you would be able to assign him a more specific path to take, other than, hey, go kick rat, get in the hole, get your eyes inside and block whatever's coming. And what we found with the younger kids, if you can help them attach their job to a specific player out there, and you give them the exit point, that the play execution comes way up. And what this system does is allows you to really boil down the assignment and their alignments down to about a 2 yard area on the field. So it makes it very efficient when you're, once you get into it and you're calling plays. It seems complicated, as you said and explain it, you kind of have to be long-winded. But if you think about how you're teaching your football plays, this is very simple. I mean, very, very simple. Any questions on this?
Yeah, I got one for you. So what would you say you would say F6 then if you wanted them to start over next to the right side of the quarterback?
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's go back to our terminology.
Because that then would give you a pistol with a fullback, right?
Yes. All right. So we're going to talk about more movement here. Okay. And it's just, we're going to talk about formation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete these play markers, and then we're just going to talk strictly about um, movement and formationing. Okay. So what AJ was talking about is if I wanted a two back set, more like an offset power eye, kind of something like this, right? Or if I needed to get into inverted veer, these other numbers help me get my backs in proper locations. So our order of movement is always from left to right. So in this case, if I called green 4, he would just move right there, and now we'd have, offset to the left, right? If I called 456, and that was the first part of my play, then we would get something that looked like that. So we'd have inverted veer, we'd have 456 there. Now, out of that, once you get to that formation, so my play call in this formation may be 456 belly, right? And so the term that we would build for the blocking for the belly, the lineman would know the term and how to block belly based off the front. Obviously, we'd be coaching that up. And then from the backfield motion would be based off of the play call. So we may attach shallow to this. We may attach a term called guns, or just inside zone. We could run buck, so on and so forth. Anything that you could build from this formation, you could build it into this play call. So in that sense, if we ran inside zone from here, we would just be 456 Indy, and that would be our call. If we were running wide zone to the right, it would just be 456 wide right. Okay. Likewise, if we were same side call, let's just say we're going to run 34 ISO here. It would just be called 64. So down, right? If we had belly or down calls are how you call it, that's what we would call for the formation. So once I get into a formation, let's just say that for the most of the night, we've done our scouting report as coaches, high school coaches, and we know that we're going to be running this inverted gear look the most. We would call this our safe or our base. So if this was our base offense for the night, every time we ripped off a play, we would come back here, and then any movement would start from this location. So if I wanted twins to the right, I would just say yellow 7, right? And then so now the Y would come out here. He'd be at the 7. If I needed a tight end on the right, I would just say yellow pro, and he would be now tight end. If I needed a wing, he would be the wing on that side. So I would just say yellow right. If I wanted a tight end and a wing, now the next available person to move would be F, right? Because he's already in the backfield. This would be our new right location. So this right and the left is always associated to the end man on the line of scrimmage. So if just say we came out here and we had some type of pro, and then for some reason we brought X over here and we did something like that, right? Or we did them stacked. I mean, you can get into whatever you want, like any formation you want to get into. We have just a one-word term for that, right? So in this case, if I wanted that look, I could say F8, and I could say red stack. So now we got F8, red stacked right there. And now we can run, any type of run play we would like to run out here. You can still run passing concepts, so on and so forth. Now you're looking at this formation and you say, man, I got a problem back here. I got Z on. So he's either covered up my Y, or if I want him off, what would I have to say if I want him off the line? So it'd be lights, right? So that would take him off, right? Makes sense? So, I mean, that's as simple as it gets, on or off. And obviously you can tell them on, off, I mean, whatever your terms are. I'm just giving you the terms that we've put out. Now, how this integrates into your offensive system is you just take your terms and add the movement number system to it, right? And so now, if you're a team that has a ton of formations and you hate, just calling different formation terms every time, and you just want to move one guy, right? Now you can just move one guy anywhere on the field, get him where you want him. You can get maybe the blocking that you normally would have to call another play for, and just assign that kid to do what you need him to do. And so that's kind of how we build this offense. And a lot of times what I'll do, and what I've done with a bunch of other coaches, is we'll sit down and we'll talk about your offense. What are your base plays? How do you run them? And then how you would use this terminology to speed up your play calling and to make you more effective, or to make you to where you can take advantage of the defense in a more proper manner. You guys got any questions about that?
Talk about I don't really question, but the straw rule and the
Yeah.
Cobra rule. There's that covered up.
Now, the straw rule and the Cobra rule, these are blocking rules for the run game. Okay. The straw rule is not only a blocking rule for the run game, but it is our passing priority, right? So when we build this, the straw rule is straight through right out the window, meaning we don't want to take any deviations in our planned passing route in order to get to the window that we're trying to throw to. Okay. So if I go back And, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to add back in the play. And we'll just talk about shallow and how the straw rule works and what Cobra means and what it is. So give me a second. We'll get back here to the beginning. I know we did a lot of movement here. Okay, so now we're back to the beginning here. So if we're going to run our routes, okay, obviously the window that we're trying to get to for green is over the corner. So if this corner is belling, we're going to try to stay over the top of him as long as we can, right? So if he's in a third and he's responsible for this deep drop, we're going to keep our route over the top of him. And we have a set. We try to stay 4 to 6 yards above the corner when we're running the corner. So that gives them a breaking point mark that the quarterback can judge every time. It's more repeatable, it's more replicatable, and we're also reading what the corner's doing, right? So the straight through right at the window would be in this shallow case. We're going to run straight through every one of these linebackers. If all of these linebackers are gone and I don't hit anybody, I'm still running as fast as I can to get to my window as fast as I can. So I'm going to run straight through it. If this wheel is hanging out right here and he's in my path, he don't put hands on me, I'm going to put hands on him to move him out of my path, right? What I don't want to do is interject more steps to add more time to the play route, right? If I get collision or if I try to get rerouted right here, what I want to do is fight through it as fast as I can. Because I'm trying to get to the window as fast as I can for the quarterback to keep his timing in check, right? So that's what the straight through right at the window is. And then now what I'll go into is the rib dinner. Most of the time when we're running and the guys are trying to collision us, what we teach our guys is we want to get our hands lower than their shoulder and in their breastplate and in their solar plexus area to punch through at the ribs to help you get through the contact. Okay, a lot of guys like to get their hands up high. They try to get up on our guys' shoulder pads, and we're just trying to keep them to where they're fighting through at the lowest point and they're staying underneath the hands of the defensive backs so they don't get rerouted 4 to 6 yards out of the pattern. And we've been very successful teaching it like that. We just call it rib dinner, and go get you a rib dinner, side of the ribs, put your hands on the guy. If he don't move, you didn't hit him hard enough. And then our Cobra rule is specifically for running, but it is also a order of calls for how we process the defensive backfield within our play. The coaches use these to make our tag calls. And again, as you get into this offensive system, it gets a little deeper than just these generic terms that I'm about to give here. So as you look at the Cobra, if we're now running the ball and we're going to process the positional blocking for, let's just say we're running, sweep left here, right? Okay. We would look at the corner first. So we want to start from the outside in. We're going to look at the corner. Is the corner blocked? No. Here, he's not blocked by X. Okay. If the corner was head up and down tight or head up to inside, now X would block the corner because it is in his path of his route. Okay. So again, if the corner's deep, he's back, he's not in my stem, then I'm going to bypass the corner as a block, and I'm going to get next to the next man. Okay. So if this wheel was tucked in the box and for some reason this free safety was down here, is this free safety within the path of the X? In this case, yes, right? He's close enough that I can step off and block him, and I'm going to run straight through him right at the window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block him to the window as far as I can get him, right? So that's how these two rules work together. So in this case, this free safety would be the outside. So the most outside man or the overhang within the defense. If the free safety was back and the wheel was over and down, now he knows that I'm blocking the wheel during this run play. Okay. So that's X. With the X now, is that overhang the backer? In this case, yes, he is. Right? If he wasn't, if the backer was down and the free safety, had walked up, now I have a choice. Which one am I going to block here? Right? Can I get both of these guys blocked? No. So I have to pick which one is the most dangerous man. So in this case, the wheel would be the most dangerous, but I'm not going to follow him into the backfield. So I would still block the free safety. And that's kind of just how we teach it. He can run himself out of the play, or we can get an arm on him from, Liz call. So in this case, if we were running that, he walked down, free safety walked down, we may call Liz. So we'd say yellow Liz, right? We don't have to tell him to do anything. He's just going to get here. He knows we're running the ball. His stem is the dig, right? That's his play. So in his rule, what's his rule? Is he blocking a corner? No. Is he blocking the outside man? Yes. Is it in the stem of his route? Yes. If you have a conflict here where you have X blocking one and Y blocking the other, it's always the most dangerous man, the fastest you can get to. So in this case, in his stem, he would block the wheel. In his stem, he would block the free safety. And now we got these two guys blocked up with just one simple motion call based off of their rule for blocking and route running. Does that make sense? So now, if the backer wasn't there, let's just say for some reason, they were stacked up this way and they thought they were going to come get us here, something like that, then we would look at the rush. Okay. So that guy would be a rush if he's down. If it's not him, if the safeties walk down, now he's a rush, right? Here's a potential blitz coming here. So we would want to make sure that dude gets blocked no matter what. Then again, it can be the same guy, apex defender. So if the free safety's down and Will has split that, not only is he the outside guy and the backer or the rush, but he is now the apex. So someone absolutely has to block him, right? So in this case, our coaches would be trying to make sure that this man is called to the proper location to block that wheel and to make it clear that no matter what he does, he is blocking that person, right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Did we lose Brian? Oh, no, he's not. Okay.
coach is muted.
Brian, you've been muted for a while.
Oh, I have? I'm sorry. Man, I've been talking away, guys.
Yeah,
Did you hear this straight through right at the window?
I heard that, and you just got done with the Cobra rule, and then you were moving some things around, and then I thought we lost you for a minute, like you froze.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't even realize it had went to mute. Maybe need to pull up my grid over here to make sure that nothing is happening back here. Okay, so what I talked about was if I needed a man to block and how we would process that Cobra rule would be if I moved him, let's just say this wheel walked down into the box, right? The free safety came down. Did we talk about that? Yeah. So if I needed to block the free safety and the X was coming through his window, he would have a choice here. Okay. So if we saw something like this as a coaching staff, what we would do is we would move the Y and put him on a path to block one of these two guys based off of his rule. So in this
So
case,
you finished
go ahead.
that part right
Yeah.
right after you got done moving the yellow 3 or just yellow 3. That's when it went silent after that. You started putting
Okay.
black, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when I put him up back over here,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So what I was saying, okay, in this instance is, let's just say we we ripped off a play, we ran our wide zone play there, or toss, whatever. Okay. I'm going to come back to the same formation. We're going to line back up. I'm going to call this shallow again. And now to combat us, they pull this Sam down out of the box. They rotate their backers over, so on and so forth. They still bring him down. They're still trying to shut us off, right? Maybe they're getting some rotation from the safety, from the backside or whatever. And this Sam is coming on a blitz now. So if I wanted to get this Sam block from this formation right here, my next call would be arrow left. So I'll be, we come up. I like to play. We got a lot of yards out of it. I can do it again. I'm getting everybody blocked over here. They made some adjustments. They're going to hit me from the front side over here on the right. And I see that Sam's walk down, and I need to get him blocked, right? So I can run shallow, but I can tag this Y and tell him arrow left. And so now, if we're still running the ball, let's just say we call, wide left again, right? And we're running the ball, but we think this kid is fast enough to get there. We need to get a body in front of him, right? There's a lot of options that I have here. I can just tag him Y, so I can just say yellow arrow left, and this would be yellow arrow left, right? If I wanted to just give interference, I could just say yellow pro. And now, I put another body there, and we got him blocked up. Does that make sense? And he knows, okay, so let's go back to his route. His route was the dig. So the first part of his stem is going to take him straight through, right at the window, right? He knows he's not blocking the corner. This is the outside. He is a backer, right? He is a rush, and he is an apex defender. So I am definitely going to block him because he's the first guy I can get to. Now, if there was a reason I didn't want to block him and I wanted to read him, we would just call this read or bypass. Okay. So we tell him read, we're going to let him go. And then now we're going to, again, process our rule. So the next man in the stem of my route would be the strong safety. And so now that's my guy. So I'm blocking. There's no doubt about that's who I'm blocking. Now, let's look at it like this. What if I tagged him arrow left, right? Now his arrow left is going to take him there. So one, I've told him, okay, I want you blocking the end or getting to the mic if he's still there. You see what I'm saying? And as long as he processes it like this, okay, so now, coach, what do I got? Am I blocking the corner? No. Am I blocking the outside man? No, because he's not in my path. Am I blocking the backer? No, not blocking the backer, but I am going to block the man that's in my path. Okay, let's just say for some reason he sparks. Now it's clear cut who I got to block. Does that make sense? And so that's how they would process that. And that's, that's how we teach it. So if he's a rush, no, this guy's the rush. Is he on my path? No, I'm blocking him. So that's a clear, we're going to read that guy or we're just going to let him go. Now, if I needed to block him, I may tag him arrow right, right? So let's just say that Sam walks up, he was outside. Let's say we had yellow at his starting position, right? Sam walks up right here. Our first choice, right, would be to get in front of him, hold him up in the run game, right? Our next choice, if we couldn't get there, would be to call a tag to say arrow left, right? Well, let's just say we put him in here and then now Sam apex him, right? And we know that this kid's going to get to us. Like our mesh is not happening fast enough. How do I get hands on him big on big? Well, it's just yellow arrow right. So there again, it's just a simple call. I've moved my yellow. So it's yellow pro, arrow right. That's my new play call, right? So it would be 22 pistol, toss left. And then the tag would be yellow, arrow right. And that gets you blocked up on everything you need based off of the rules that we put in. Does that make sense? Any questions? Anything you want to see? Something funky you want to see?
So you tie your pass concept to run play, or is it always shallow?
Well, we try to take the run plays and attach them to the proper pass plays, right? So
Makes sense.
yeah. So like if I'm running dagger, on the right side over here, and I got this concept, I got an inside out block. Our play may be a now screen to the right. That may be the base play that we run. Does that make sense? Because what we would do in that case is just kind of look at it. What we would do here is we would run the play. Well, and then sometimes I love just play, and sometimes I really hate it. It's a great program, but sometimes it just messes with you, like right here.
Sorry, Jeff, for a second. Buddy's,
Oh, you're good.
one of
You're
his
good.
son's buddies is over, so dad was calling. So
Yeah, you're good. So what we, this may be a play that we run quite often. Okay. So this is shallow, and then we call this chair, right? So our run play is basically, this bubble in this instance, right? So what we're doing is we're locking down the corner. He's either going, right? He's chasing, he's coming out. Who's got the flat? So let's just say he stays strong and plays a flat, and he bails and tries to get over the top. They on the hash, if they're deep, whatever, it doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter the scenario out here. If it's three, if they got 4 over 3, they're going to play box. They're going to play some type of trap, maybe go 0 on you. Then you know what I'm saying. You can process that as a coach, but what we would do if this is our play, this is our run play. It's just we're going to catch and get it out there to H as fast as we can and let him make a play. Now, if we see that the first time we run this, right, strong safety comes over, they've seen it on film 20 or 30 times. We see they come aligned to it, right, and they back Mike up and they bring Will down, or they got some kind of funky rotation there, right? I don't know what they're doing. I'm just throwing this out there, right? Anything, right? Here comes Will. Here comes Mike. So I got 6 in the box. I'm going to throw the ball anyway, right? Now, what I have to do is sort what's his job. Does he got the flat, right? Does he got over the top and he's got intermediate? How are they going to sort that out? Well, once I figure out how they sort this formation and this play, next time I run this may be, the tag may be arrow left, and we just get here. with the slot, slam right there. This may be, double verticals. I may run H on a go, right? So we just tag that out at this point. And now I'm just building a play off of what the defense is giving me. Well, let's just say that I want to keep him hid, and I just tell him blue right, and then vertical, right? So blue right vertical be a kind of like a divide concept with the, slot fade built in, right? Makes sense? Like we can get to that all with just one tag. If this is our chair concept, so this would be shallow chair, they know that. The only thing I'd have to call is my play would be 22 pistol, shallow chair. Then the next part of my play is blue, right, vertical. Now I could do that as a pre-snap alignment, or I could do that as a motion. So let's just go blue 3 vert. Okay. So now what I've done is I put blue 3 out here, right? So he's going to run that vertical, but it's going to be blue 3 vertical, rip right. Okay. Make sense? Blue 3 vert, rip right. That's my play call. So blue came over here to 3. Now he's going to rip to the right. So the right location's right there. And then now he's going to go vertical. So you already know the defense is going to shift to that. We may have this. It may completely rotate out where, it looks, it wouldn't be like that, but you guys understand what I'm talking about here, right? We're all coaches. So if you look at that, okay, let's just say he walks down. Well, now if I know this guy's going to be a man or I'm going to test it, I damn sure want to say rip right, because this may not be my best matchup, him over him. But if I slide him and I know they shift and the backer now takes him, that may be a great matchup for me. Right? Does that make sense? So you can get your matchups built in that way. You can move him all around. Like we could start him there, right? And you could say push right. So now we're telling him to kind of, stutter out here. When he gets to here, he's going to hike the ball, and now he's just going to run the vertical right out of there. Okay, let's say you got an end that's chewing you up all night, and by the time you get to a check release, he's 7 yards in the backfield in your quarterback's face, right? And now I just may want to start him here at right or pro, right? You see what I'm saying? And tell him vertical to make sure that Sam or that end does not get into my quarterback's face. And it allows me to move him to the place I need him and get him where I want him without having to build a play in that the kid has to remember, hey, that's where I'm going. This is what I got to do, so on and so forth, right? Or we're calling a timeout. Hey, man, we're going to call this play. But what I need you to do is I need you to block the end here, right? I mean, that's a waste of timeout. If you have a way that's built into your system to where you can move him to anywhere you want him, and you can assign him a blocking rule based off of these 2 rules, the straw and the cobra, right? You got it built in. The rest is, man, go play football. Be the coach out there and get blocked what you need blocked and make some plays off of, movement. Take advantage of the defense. Take everything they give you and create your own, opportunities out there. I think I think the thing that when I talk to coaches the most is the ability to have a plan to make an opportunity for them in the passing game or the run game immediately, right? They can't teach enough in a season to take advantage of every situation that they may need. But if you give them a way to move and get something blocked that they otherwise wouldn't be able to within that play, it can keep you out of a lot of bad plays. A lot. And instead of, just checking completely out of the play and moving. Because, man, hey, sometimes it just may take one extra guy in that right location knowing what to do to bust that play wide open. So that's why this was created. That's why the system exists right here like that. You got any questions on that movement, the play you want to see, anything?
No, good to go.
So, that's kind of, the offense in a nutshell, how we utilize it, how we make movement through there. Um, what I tell guys, when I show them this, is go grab 3 or 4 plays out of your playbook and you just do a 22-man diagram, and then start moving the defense around, and presenting your offense different looks from the defense, and what you would need to do within those 3 or 4 plays to cover what the defense is showing you based off of these numbers and the movement, and use your own terms, right? If you use, Randy or Roger, or Linda or Larry, for your rip and Liz, or your movement calls, or if you only use jet or fly or something like that, just punch your terms into those categories and now run your offense based off of that, right? Make a few play calls, time yourself. What would it take you to get a play in if you had verbiage similar to this and you were using the number system and the spacing system that's provided here? And I think you'll see in most cases, you're going to be speeding yourself up quite a bit. And you're going to be, again, staying in a good play and being able to get to someone that you need to get blocked, that you got to get blocked. Just move a guy, right? Don't matter which way he comes from. Just move the guy, get him to the spot you need him at, and make the block. Sometimes, when we call explosion plays, or we call plays like this, and we tag something, 9 times out of 10, it's a touchdown. It really is. And I've got film I could share with you guys where we went to play a team last year with the showcase team that we have. And our first 5 plays that we ran were touchdowns based off of, we just moved one guy and we just, read another guy, right? So on and so forth, moved one man and got the numbers we needed to make our play successful. And when we call the play, it's like, man, they align perfectly to that. There's no way we're going to get any yards out of that. But if we do this, this is a touchdown. And lo and behold, we were 97% on explosion plays, on audibles, through the season with using this system. And this was a first year set of kids that we gave this to, showed them how to use it in 7-on-7 season. And when we got to the 11-man regular tackle football season, we just dominated. I mean, it even helped our kids process defense a little faster too. So we pitched 8 shutouts out of 12 games. We only allowed 36 points on us all year long, and we scored like 382 points. So, I mean, it was definitely a good system. And if you teach it properly, you take your time and you run through your offense and you figure out what your calls need to be, man, it's super fast. And on Friday night, man, it's deadly. I mean, it is deadly. You can just go back to 2020 in Oklahoma and look at the top performing schools in Oklahoma, and then look at 2021, 2, 3, and 4. When you find those guys that jump dramatically, they're using this system, I promise you. A lot of those guys, I can't tell you the names because we have confidentiality agreements in with them, but it's tremendous and it's growing, through the state of Oklahoma. We're down to the 8-man level right now. And, when you're going down to the small schools and putting them in and they're just crushing people, it's good. It's fun to watch, man. It's a good deal. If you guys don't have any other questions about how to move, build formations, we can kind of end it here. And if you guys want to stay on and talk, I can show you a couple other little tips that we use and tricks within this motion and the alignments and formationing people and how we use it. We've got some other faster terms. So the guys that showed up, I'll share that with you for free if you guys want to stick around. If not, I understand it's 8 o'clock on a Saturday. There's probably a lot better things to do than sit around and talk about football.
Well,
But I
thanks,
can't think of many, right?
thanks,
So.
thanks, Brian. I'm just gonna end the recording.